much for having me today. I just want to set the tone that I know I'm here talking about the industry of retail, but I know a lot of you shop as well. So I'd love for you to participate in the presentation. So there are points in time where I'll ask questions, and I'd love to hear what you guys think, because you are the current shopper, if you will, that people are always trying to target. So you might know more than what you actually think you know. So we'll kind of go from there, and feel free to ask questions throughout, and maybe we'll learn something new, because great concepts and great retail comes from new ideas where you're challenging the current status quo, and that's how new businesses start. So I think there's a lot of great ideas that usually happen through conversation. This is just a quote from partners of Beyond Brand. We believe in going beyond brand to craft compelling points of interaction designed to empower products and services. So I'm with a brand strategy firm in San Francisco. I come from a traditional finance background, so I was in the industry of finance and tax consulting for over 10 years. I decided that I no longer wanted to do that. It was no longer my cup of tea, and I thought it was boring and never wanted to do it again. So I went back to school and decided to transition into the retail sector. Moved into the resale type of sector, worked for some major brands in the US, and then started to consult with Beyond Brand starting in 2015. I work with Brian Valmonte, who is the founder of Beyond Brand, and he is also a retail strategist. Comes from a communications background, has worked for several luxury brands, and then also worked across several industries such as myself. Here are just some of the brands that we work for and some of the companies. Across these brands, we've done concept development, naming, targeted marketing, supply chain, inventory management, finance, across the board, from the conception of the idea all the way to the execution of the type of products that you're carrying, pricing hierarchy, and even targeting who the customers would be for that product that you actually created. Current client of mine right now is Paracone MD, so I'm working on a supply chain project for a cosmeceutical company who develops cosmetics and facial care. So what are the challenges of the retail sector? Can anyone give me some insight what you guys think is wrong with the retail sector? What have you noticed? You guys shop, you go to the stores, you walk around town. Does anyone have any insight to the retail sector?
A lot of shops are disappearing.
Why do you think they're disappearing?
Because others are online.
Online. Yeah, so that's a very good one. Anything else?
Our stores are very big and huge, or they get smaller into this boutique style. So this medium-sized shop actually disappears.
Yes, very good observation. A lot of these larger stores are now decreasing in format because they need to be more focused to the customer. These larger stores is what you would traditionally call a mall or a department store. It is slightly disappearing because the customer today doesn't really shop that way. It was a way people shopped before. Anything else? One more. How about this side of the room? Nothing? So we'll touch a little bit of the two topics that you mentioned here, the internet and then the format of the store. Those are definitely changing and have continually evolved. And it's interesting how people sometimes start out as an e-commerce company and then go into what we would call brick and mortar. Or vice versa, they're a brick and mortar, have an actual store, and then try to enter the market as an e-commerce company. So the agenda for today, we're going to look at what we've done in the past, or what the retail market looked like in the past. Who is the shopper today? Who is that consumer? What do they look like? What are they looking for? And what's their profile? How has technology shaped the landscape of retail? What is the experience? This is what a lot of consultants or people in the industry would call experience. And that experience would range from what is the experience online, and then what is also the experience in the store. So there's two different types of experiences, but we want to look at them holistically. Pop-up shops. You guys are familiar with pop-up shops? I don't know if they're predominantly here in Europe, but there are temporary shops of brick and mortars that are going into a location temporarily, sometimes a couple weeks, sometimes a couple months, maybe even just a year. And they're usually an e-commerce company, and they open up a store temporarily. We would call that a pop-up shop. Then the luxury market, if we have time towards the end, we'll touch briefly on the luxury market. This actually deserves its own presentation, but I will touch on it since it's an important area of the sector, especially coming here to Europe. It's an area that a lot of people focus on. And emerging markets. And this is something that any company, global company, will look to expanding their business. They'll look to these markets as a new way of revenue and a new target customer and actually globalizing their assortment. And then where is the retail sector headed? So we'll then look at the past and see where we're headed with all the trends that we see currently today. So the past. Few players. As we know, before the internet, you were only really focusing and competing against people in your own town, maybe in your own country. You were never really competing with people across the globe. So you never had to look at that. You just had to worry about the other store down the street, what they were selling, whether your price was better than theirs, and you tried to get them in your door. So that was really how you would operate before. Formats, as we kind of discussed, malls are formats that were very popular, which are slightly decreasing. We'll see more boutique type stores showing up. Department stores, localized specialty stores. These are things that are just refined within your own town or in your own region. Again, these are just things that you would never find on the internet, or even you wouldn't know it existed anywhere else other than your own town. And mail order. It's very rare now, but some companies still offer this. Is where you get a catalog in the mail, and you shop, and you fill out a form, or you call in your order, and they'll actually send you what you're ordering. It's a very primitive way of shopping, and that's why it doesn't really exist today, but that actually was a form of shopping before. And your marketing channels, very traditional, and you see this still today. So you have magazines, newspapers, television, and then word of mouth. Those are really the only ways that you use marketing. But now you have the internet, which makes it even more challenging. Casualties and mistakes. So, can anyone explain why I put these pictures as a casualty or a mistake? We can start with the first photo. I think most of you might know the brand, Abercrombie & Fitch. Why do I think, or the retail industry thinks, it's a casualty or a mistake? Has anyone followed that brand or that company?
I remember like when we first came to Shanghai, because it was like all the all the guys and then the girls like, oh, let's go and take pictures with the guys with it. They're like cute. But then
yeah, it was a marketing strategy to get people to the store.
Yeah, but then it was actually discriminating a lot of people, not only employees, potential employees, but also people who wanted to go shopping in there because they only offered up to a certain size. And they were like picking who
Exactly.
as their employees or even customers.
Exactly. Abercrombie & Fitch is a brand that was probably on trend in the 80s, maybe even the 90s. They sold to a certain profile customer, a certain type of product, but they never evolved. Their customer aged, they got older. They never wanted to wear that again. So they weren't actually building new products to continue to sell to that same customer. And they never evolved as a brand. They continually sold the same type of shirts, same types of jeans, nothing ever changed. If you bought a shirt 10 years ago, you'd probably find the same shirt in the store today. It's not very innovative, never on trend, and that's why it's a mistake. They never really evolved as a brand. And today they're struggling. They're filing for bankruptcy and they're trying to re-innovate themselves as a brand. Will they be able to do it? We'll have to see, because now there's a lot more competition. They were very, very successful before the internet. Now that with the internet, they'll have a lot of challenges to really kind of captivate a new customer and understand how to sell to them. Second one, bookstores. How is that a casualty?
You order books nowadays online, or even read them online with the e-reader, so there are no books anymore around, or not by the other things.
Yeah. Very good point. That's essentially it. Bookstores used to be the only way you could get a book. You would go to a store, You'd look for the title you wanted, and that's how you receive it. Every town had one, and that they were essentially the bookstore to go to. Today you have the internet, you have e-readers, you could actually rent them out of your own library electronically. So there is no need to really go to these stores anymore. They were late to the technology game of actually building online stores so they can actually sell their product, and they're now disappearing. So rarely will you find these local bookstores actually selling books, because very big companies such as an Amazon are now selling the most books. So they've taken away a lot of these small businesses that you used to see. Third one is movie theaters. Why are these, in the US at least, they might not be disappearing here, but why are cinemas or movie theaters disappearing?
Because of streaming services.
Streaming services, exactly. No one wants to go out and actually see a movie. They want to see it when they want to see it. They want to see it and be able to pause it and go get a drink, maybe grab something to eat. So there's no more demand. It's a pastime of the past. No one is going to the movie theaters anymore. So these places are now just closing down, either turning into parking lots or turning into smaller stores. So you never see these anymore because of streaming and because of online watching. And malls, as we've talked before. There's a lot of malls across the world. They might be still relevant here in other parts of the world, but at least in the US, they are certain formats that are no longer relevant. People don't go to a mall and walk around and spend hours shopping anymore. Where are they shopping?
Online.
They're shopping online. They're shopping online and they're shopping on their phones. So these stores that were actually have brick and mortar, they're now having challenges to how are they going to sell to the customer when the foot traffic that they used to have is no longer there. So that's a mistake as well. Technology is one of the things that made retail very difficult to evolve, at least for a small company. It was something they had to adapt to if they wanted to compete. Just as we discussed, just to summarize this, and of course, stale merchandising and environment. That is what Abercrombie & Fitch. They never evolved. Stale. The same thing you saw year after year. Late adopters of technology. If they didn't adapt to technology and get online right when the internet started, you probably are seeing them disappear today, or they're gone already as it is. And no longer relevant to the customer today. They're shopping different, they're looking for different things, and they're more, it's a different habit, if you will. So that's what's challenging to being successful. So who is the customer that is driving the marketplace? Who is that customer that's shopping today that everyone wants to actually target to?
Millennials.
So the customer today, millennials is the largest population of customers. If you see going up to 2015, millennials continue to be the highest population, where other populations of the consumer continue to decline because they die. So essentially, if businesses want to survive through the times, they better start learning what the millennial wants, how they shop, what are the trends, and keep on top of what those trends are, of what they're looking for. So how is the millennial or the shopper different than the shopper before? I want it fast, I want it now. And I think that's what everyone really is reacting to. I want to see the movie now, I'm going to buy it online. I want that bag, I want that shirt, I'm going to search for it online, order it, and I'm going to get it the next day. I don't need to go downtown, and I have to go pick it up. I can see it, have it online. People want efficiency, and they want it fast, and they want it now, which makes them more demanding. They're researching, they know more about the products, they're more informed, they know what kind of material it is, they know how it fits because they're reading reviews. So it's more harder to actually please the customer because they know so much. They know more than what they would have known 10, 20 years ago. So how are brands supposed to surprise you if you know so much? That's the difficult part. Online research before going to the store. You go in the store, you already know what you want. You go pick it up, you buy it, and you're gone. There's nothing to do for the associates. So that's the challenging part too. A lot of these stores become showrooms. So they essentially go there, you as a consumer walk in and you look at it, you play around with the electronic or the phone or the radio, whatever it might be, try it on. If you like it, you buy it. If you don't, you leave. So these stores are no longer really doing a service other than holding merchandise, spending money on this store to just show you product, but you're actually buying online. So there's a difficulty there of actually spending a lot on physical stores when they don't really serve a purpose today. And greater shopping on mobile. Who buys on their phone? Does anyone shop on their phone? And when did you start shopping on your phone? 2 or 3 years ago. So it used to be you would shop on your computer. So today, if you were on your way home and you thought of something and you needed it, you would buy it on your phone. You'd probably get it maybe tomorrow or the next day. So there's a topic that we'll kind of get to is a lot of these retailers are trying to find the moment in time that you have the thought of when you want to buy something and capturing that moment so that you'll buy it from them. That's the challenge today. So how connected are we? Average user uses their phone 145 minutes a day, checking their phones every 4.3 minutes. 81% of smartphone users keep their phones nearby during waking hours. I'm probably this as well, and this was back in 2016. So it's probably changed where you're actually on your phone even more, and it's probably even more frequent. You're checking your phone probably every 3 minutes, not every 4.3. I know I check my phone to see if I've got a text, or if I've got an email, or if someone's saying something online. And if you have a smart watch, these numbers are probably even shorter and even longer because you're getting those messages and alerts on your wrist. So it's amazing how much we're so connected. Technology. So these are just some statistics on how millennials actually use technology. Percentage on the left, millennials, Generation X, and boomers are the 3 categories. So you have your millennials, which is like 18 to 34, Generation X, 35 to 50, and boomers are 51 to 69. So plus or minus 5 years, that's your category. Use smartphones more frequently to find what they want this year. We already talked that you guys are shopping on your phone. So clearly you're using your phone more to actually interact with brands and stores. Expect to purchase more through their smartphones this year. Millennials are the ones too that are buying more using their phone. Find it easy to purchase via mobile devices. So millennials are very early adopters to technology, so it only makes sense that they're shopping more online, but that makes it even more important that smartphones and devices and apps are very easy to navigate towards and capturing that sale. Because I know probably when you've shopped online or on your phone, if it's hard to navigate, you probably leave the site and you go to another one, or you no longer use the app. And because, again, you want it now, you want it fast, and you want it very easy. And if it's not those things, you move on. And it's probably what you've done. I do it too. If the app doesn't work, I no longer use it until the next update, until I know they've actually fixed the problem. So who is leading and shaping e-commerce? Amazon. I don't think Amazon's here in Austria, but has anyone used Amazon before?
Yes, it is here.
Yeah.
It is here in Austria.
Yes, it is. Okay, so it is. So why do you use Amazon?
Why books or anything?
Okay. Now what is the anything other than books?
Everything.
Everything. Even food. So Amazon started in 1995, and they wanted to be the everything store. That was Amazon's goal, to be the everything store. First month, they sold books to 50 states and to 45 different countries. They started as a bookstore. So it's amazing that in their first month they had that type of outreach. Being in 1995, that's quite amazing. Then again, there was not as much competition online. So they were actually able to reach so many customers within a short period of time. Over 353 million products sold through Amazon and through the marketplace. So that's quite a bit. And as you said, everything or across categories, top 5 categories for Amazon, electronics, clothing, home and kitchen, sports and outdoor. People aren't just going there to buy books anymore, they're buying across various categories. So how is Amazon shaping the industry? Do you guys think this of Amazon? Do you think that they're actually killing small businesses?
Well, they're killing, but they're also creating new businesses.
It's a very good point.
It's just one point of view that they are killing businesses, yes, but they're also creating many businesses.
Yeah.
And they also offer startups the possibility to sell their products easy.
Yes, they are killing businesses, but again, as we pointed out, technology is what's driving the industry. So if you want to compete, you have to adapt to technology.
I wanted to say that they kill companies that don't adapt to changes and actually help the thing with the marketplace, they're reseller of products, so they actually help small businesses to be visible also in their platform.
Exactly. So they have the resources to really make you a global company. And so if you join forces with Amazon, which a lot of people do so they can get the global outreach, you can be just as successful as Amazon, but you have to join them and not be against them. And a lot of companies don't want to work with Amazon because they think these things that they're killing businesses, they're not doing the right thing. But the only thing they're doing is they're adapting technology, they're smart about what they're doing, and they know what the consumers want and how they shop, and it's very smart. So just a little snapshot on how Amazon actually is. So financially, from 2012 to 2016, I mean, a very, very successful company in the billions. And you can see here is double-digit growth year over year. High 20s, if not at least 20% year over year. Most of their operational expenses are in fulfillment, which makes sense, supply chain, which is making sure products get to them on time, technology and content, which makes sense because they want websites working, they want to make sure they can execute the sale, their credit card goes through, and everyone gets their product. And then marketing comes in third. So all of those expenses make sense for a very successful company. But how do you compare them to any other company globally? There isn't really one. There is no company that competes with Amazon directly. I've chosen 3 of ones that probably all know, and these are their revenues for the same time period. But if you can see, none of them really have the same growth as Amazon. They're not as successful when you see the revenue growth year over year. Only time you see the double-digit high revenue growth is in 2015 for Apple. They had almost 28% from 2014 to 2015. And that was only because they launched the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus and the watch. And then they went to a negative 7.7 because everyone bought their phone, they didn't buy one the next year, and they're waiting for the next big release. So they have this cyclical that they have to now cater to, and investors know that after a launch, the following year isn't going to be as great as the previous. So how is that to an investor when they know they have these peaks and valleys? But when you compare to Amazon, they're not doing anything other than selling everything. And they have double-digit growth. So what makes Amazon so successful? Their assortment of the everything store, and as we saw, they sell across all categories. They're selling to everything that you need, other clothing, electronics, you need an iPhone screen cover, or whatever it is. They sell it and they'll get it to you within the time that you want. Price. They're very competitive. You can find the best price on Amazon, or if not, if you do a subscription, they can give you incentives through shopping through them. So if you have Amazon Prime, you have free shipping, you become a repeat customer. So it only makes sense that their revenues are this great. Convenience, ease of ordering, product reviews. How many of you read product reviews? Do you believe the product reviews?
Yes.
Do you depend on the product reviews? It's important. So the customer today wants to see product reviews. If you don't see a product review, are you going to skip and look for one that actually has a review? So that's the customer today. They believe product reviews and are looking for people who have purchased the same product and seeing what their experience is. Again, I want the information now. Amazon's giving it to you. I want it now. take my credit card, and I want it the next day. So they're very successful at executing that. Consistent delivery, reliability, and faster shipping. The interesting part here is Amazon has decreased their shipping time by 1.5 days from the previous year. So they are getting better and better every year to making sure your product gets to you even faster. And Amazon Prime, we talked about subscriptions, being a repeat customer. So that's how they're able to gain so much revenue. So what's Amazon doing today other than e-commerce? Have any of you heard of these concepts? Amazon Go and then Amazon Books. So it's a little strange that they were an e-commerce company, considering they started as selling books, and now they're going into bookstores. So we go back to the slide of they were killing small businesses, but they're going into the bookstore business. They're going into Amazon Go. This is a grocery store concept. What it is, you walk in.
They're still killing small businesses
They are.
because the books is not someone else's, it's still theirs.
But there will be a slide where we'll go into this. So why do you think they went into this business of actually selling books at the store?
To be honest, I still love bookstores because it gives you the feeling like you can go there. I like the smell of the bookstore. Yeah, it's just like you can never get it if you just shop online and read it.
Yeah. There's a trend now reverting back to actually wanting to actually walk into a store and experiencing the product versus just buying it online. We've had so many years of actually just buying online and not having an experience. Stores are now actually building retail brick and mortar. But there's more to them actually building these brick and mortars, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Amazon Go is a grocery store concept. You have their app, you walk in, you take anything off the shelf, it knows that you took the product, put it in your bag, you walk out of the store, it charges your phone. So you never really have to do anything other than pick the product and leave.
How does it charge you?
So you download their app on their phone. You have that app on when you actually go into the store. You walk through a turnstile, so it knows that you, the customer, has walked through. It knows when you pulled something off of the shelf. So it recognizes a product has now left the shelf, and that you, the customer, with the vicinity of your app to the product, you are actually making the purchase. You are carrying that. It knows that it's with you within a certain range. Walk out of the store, you walk through the turnstile, and it charges your phone. You don't interact with anyone, and it actually charges you.
You can also put a product back and via pressure plates and cameras, they're going to notice if you put it back.
Yeah. So with all the technology in the store, they're able to know whether you picked it up, put it back down, know what your trends are. They're reading you and understanding what you shop for and what you're actually buying. So that's, again, technology. They're being very innovative and being one of the first to the marketplace and understanding customers.
So how big is one of these stores?
Probably maybe the size of this room.
Okay. But they still sell everything.
This would be a traditional grocery store, yes.
What if you turn your phone off on your way out? They never get to detect it.
I think there probably are alerts that you don't have the app. So there are people that are working there that monitor, but for the most part, you have to have the app in order to shop there. And I think typically, if you are already shopping with Amazon, you have the Amazon app, and there's integration to actually understanding whether you have an account. So you have to have an account with Amazon to be able to shop. So they have your credit card to begin with. The experience. So this is what the retail industry is always talking about if you're reading articles about the experience. Shoppers are demanding more services on their mobile devices while shopping in store. Clearly, we've heard that you guys are shopping on your phone more frequently. More seamless mobile and in-store experience. Example, the Gap. I have worked for the Gap for 2.5 years. One of these things, as an example, is someone shopping on their phone or online, looking for what they want, and then what they're getting is essentially understanding of what the inventory is, where is the inventory, what store can I go to, and where will they have it. I no longer have to guess that maybe I'll try this store and they won't have it. I'll know which store has my size, the color I want, and how many they have. So I no longer have to actually spend time walking around town trying to find this product. that is seamless mobile and in-store experience. Some of these places don't sell all their